The distance between you and danger is often smaller than you think, not because you are weak, but because life can change quickly when a small choice is repeated. You may imagine danger as something loud and obvious, something that arrives with warning lights and a dramatic sound. But most of the time, danger moves quietly. It slips in through a habit, a delay, a compromise, a silence, a text that should not be answered, a path that should not be followed, a voice that keeps promising comfort while slowly borrowing your peace. Your heart knows this already, has felt the tension, has felt the pull, has felt the tiny alarm that says, stay awake. Breathe with me for a moment. You do not need to become afraid of everything. Fear is not your teacher. Awareness is. There is a difference. Fear makes the world look like a trap. Awareness shows you where your feet are landing. It helps you notice what is feeding your life and what is draining it. That is the kind of wisdom that keeps you safe. The Creator has placed that wisdom within you for a reason. It is not there to shame you. It is there to guide you. It is the quiet voice that notices when your spirit tightens around something that looked harmless at first. Listen to that quiet voice. It is not trying to rob you of joy. It is trying to protect your future. You have probably stood close to things that were not meant for you and only later understood the cost. A person can stand inches away from trouble and still think they are far enough, until the ground shifts. A pattern can feel manageable until it becomes a chain. A conversation can feel innocent until it opens a door in your heart that is hard to close. That is why closeness matters. The gap between you and danger is not always measured in miles. Sometimes it is measured in moments, in moods, in what you keep excusing, in what you keep calling normal. Remember this truth. Small compromises are rarely small for long. They grow. They repeat. They ask for more. You may have been taught to ignore discomfort, to call it overthinking, to laugh off the warning inside your chest. But your inner unease is not always anxiety. Sometimes it is mercy speaking early. Sometimes it is your life trying to remain whole before it is pulled apart. When something keeps making you uneasy, do not rush to silence the feeling. Sit with it. Ask what it wants to reveal. Ask what would happen if you listened sooner instead of later. That question can save you from costly detours. It can keep you from stepping too close to what looks appealing but carries hidden weight. Your peace is a message. Treat it as one. There are relationships, habits, environments, and choices that seem harmless because they are familiar. Familiarity can be very convincing. Can tell you that because something has always been nearby, it must be safe. But the heart is not healed by familiarity alone. It is healed by truth. If a thing repeatedly drains you, confuses you, hardens you, or pulls you away from your center, it is not far from danger no matter how close it feels. Listen to this. Safe space is not just a place. It is also a pattern. It is the pattern of honesty, healthy boundaries, and steady self-respect. Guard that pattern. It will guard you back. You do not need to live in paranoia to live wisely. That is an important difference. You are not being asked to suspect every person or fear every room. You are being asked to become more attuned to what your soul already knows. Discernment is not suspicion. It is calm and clear. It says, I can feel the difference between what nourishes me and what slowly empties me. I can tell when something is asking for more of me than it should. I can tell when my heart is being pulled into a place that is not peaceful. That kind of clarity is a gift. Makes your steps lighter. Makes you know firmer. Makes your eyes cleaner. The gap between you and danger can be closed by exhaustion. When you are tired, things that once felt obvious can start to feel negotiable. Fatigue weakens boundaries. Clouds judgment. It makes temporary relief look more important than long-term peace. That is why rest is not a luxury. It is protection. When your body is worn down, your spirit has to work harder just to stay clear. So do not dismiss your need for rest. Do not praise yourself for running until you cannot think straight. Slowing down can be a way of staying safe. Stillness can reveal what speed hides. Give yourself permission to pause before the gap becomes a wound. A wise heart notices patterns before they become disasters. The same kind of message keeps returning, the same temptation, the same excuse dressed differently. That repetition is not random. It is a sign. Means something has been allowed too close for too long. You are not wrong for feeling the weight of it. But you are responsible for responding to it. That response does not have to be dramatic. Can be quiet and firm. Can be a boundary. Can be a delay. Can be a refusal. Can be a new plan. One honest response can change the direction of a season. Feel it in your soul. Some of the most dangerous things in life are not violent at first. They are persuasive. They flatter your loneliness. They mimic comfort. They make you feel seen while slowly making you smaller. That is why you must pay attention to what leaves you after the moment passes. Do you feel more grounded or more scattered? More clear or more foggy? More open or more closed? More yourself or less? The answer tells you whether something is helping or harming you. Do not wait until damage becomes undeniable. Listen early. That is what wisdom does. It listens early. The Creator has not made you to be easily swallowed by what harms you. You were made with a signal inside you, with that subtle inner alarm that rises when something is off. Trust it. Trust that you can sense what your mind is still trying to rationalize. Trust that peace is not weakness. Peace is often the body and spirit agreeing on the truth before the mind has caught up. When peace leaves, pay attention. When your chest tightens, pay attention. When your thoughts begin circling the same uneasy thing, pay attention. You are being invited to step back before the distance becomes dangerous. You may have a history of staying too long near what slowly hurts you. That does not make you foolish. Makes you human. Humans hold hope longer than they should sometimes. Humans want to believe the best. Humans excuse, minimize, and tolerate because leaving feels hard. But you can learn. You can learn to love yourself enough to leave what has become unsafe. You can learn to value your peace more than the comfort of being familiar. You can learn that leaving is not always a loss. Sometimes it is wisdom arriving in the form of movement. Sometimes it is the first breath of healing. Listen to this. Not everything that threatens you arrives as a threat. Sometimes it arrives as a convenience. Sometimes it arrives as flattery. Sometimes it arrives as an urgency. Sometimes it arrives as a promise that you will be okay if you just ignore the discomfort one more time. But discomfort ignored becomes a doorway. A doorway to regret, to confusion, to self-doubt. That is why the smallest warning matters. One ignored check can become a habit. One habit can become a pattern. One pattern can become your life if you do not interrupt it. You are allowed to interrupt it. In fact, you must. That interruption can be an act of love toward your future. Breathe with me for a moment. Imagine a bridge spanning a deep drop. If the gap is small, people may rush across carelessly. If the gap is wide, people take it seriously. But danger does not wait for the gap to become dramatic. It only needs access. That is why your boundaries matter even in small things. A small yes to what is harmful can become a large cost later. A small no to what unsettles you can become a large blessing. Do not wait until the ground shakes to become cautious. Your life deserves prevention, not just repair. Prevention is gentler than regret. Prevention is one of the deepest forms of wisdom. There are moments when the thing that feels closest to you is the thing you need most distance from. That can be confusing, especially if it has become part of your daily rhythm. But closeness is not the same as belonging. Repetition is not the same as destiny. Attraction is not the same as alignment. You do not need to keep giving energy to what keeps asking you to shrink. The gap between you and danger can begin with one simple awareness. I do not have to keep touching what keeps cutting me. That awareness does not make you cold. It makes you protective of what is sacred in you. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is to notice where your peace goes missing. If your sleep gets worse, if your thoughts grow sharper, if your body starts bracing before your mind can explain why, listen. These are not random inconveniences. They are clues. Your whole being is speaking. Sometimes what you call stress is your inner life trying to warn you. Sometimes what you call boredom is your spirit trying to escape a place that is too tight. Sometimes what you call attraction is just old pain recognizing a familiar pattern. Study your life gently. It will show you where the gap narrows and where care is needed. You are not meant to be brave by pretending. Real bravery looks like attention. It looks like telling the truth about what is happening to you. It looks like saying, this is not safe for me, this is not good for me, this is too close for comfort. That honesty may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes discomfort is the price of freedom. Remember this truth. The first step away from danger is often not a sprint. It is a pause. Pause to see clearly. Pause to choose differently. Pause to let wisdom rise higher than impulse. That pause can change everything. The Creator has placed enough light in you to see when a path is narrowing into harm. You may not see the whole future, but you can usually sense the difference between a path that opens your life and a path that tightens it. Do not rush past that sense. Do not let the fear of missing out pull you into what your soul already knows is too close to danger. The world may celebrate people who move fast into everything, but speed is not always a success. Sometimes speed is simply avoidance wearing a confident face. Slow down enough to feel what is true. That slowness can save you from a costly lesson. Feel it in your soul. You are allowed to change course before the crash. You are allowed to turn around before the damage gets deeper. You are allowed to say, this was not for me after all. There is no shame in correcting yourself. Correction is not failure. It is wisdom in motion. Some of the strongest people are the ones who learn to step back early, before their lives were tangled by denial. That kind of strength is quiet, does not need applause, simply protects the future. You can be that kind of strong. You can step back with dignity and choose a safer way. There is a difference between being curious and being careless. Curiosity can help you learn. Carelessness can make you vulnerable. If something keeps drawing you to the edge of what unsettles you, ask why. What are you hoping to find there? Comfort, excitement, proof, escape. Those needs are real, but the place you seek to meet them may not be wise. There are healthier ways to satisfy a longing than standing too close to what could harm you. You do not need to shame the longing. You only need to guide it more wisely. That is maturity. That is self-respect. That is the gap widening again in your favor. The warning signs are often subtle at first. Tired mind says, maybe later. A wounded heart says, maybe this is all I get. Fearful soul says, maybe close enough is good enough. But your life is worth more than close enough. You are worth more than living 1 inch from what hurts. The gap between you and danger grows when you honor the signal early. It shrinks when you keep dismissing it. So let the signal speak. Let it say no when needed. Let it say not now. Let it say step back. That simple refusal can become your protection and your peace. Listen to this. You do not need to punish yourself to learn. Punishment often makes people hide. Learning makes people heal. When you realize you have been too close to something harmful, do not crush yourself. Become more aware. Become more caring. Become more honest. Ask what led you there. Ask what was missing that made that thing seem so necessary. Maybe you needed attention. Maybe you needed relief. Maybe you needed belonging. These are human needs, but they deserve wise answers. If you meet the need with wisdom, the danger loses some of its pull. That is how you begin to heal both the longing and the pattern. Breathe with me for a moment. You do not have to live in constant alarm to stay protected. Protection is not panic. It is a pattern. Healthy patterns are what keep your life strong. Sleeping enough. Thinking before answering. Asking questions before trusting too quickly. Leaving when your peace is repeatedly disturbed. These may seem ordinary, but they are the architecture of safety. You build safety the way you build a house, one wise choice at a time. Do not overlook the ordinary. The ordinary is where most danger is either allowed or blocked. It is also where your future is quietly formed. You may be tempted to think that being close to danger proves something about you. Does not. It only proves that the world contains things that are not safe, and that you are learning how to notice them. That is not shameful. It is part of growing up. What matters is whether you let the lesson shape you. Will you become more careful, more honest, more grounded? Will you listen to the subtle signs your spirit gives you? Will you choose to widen the gap before harm gets a stronger grip? Your answer can change the direction of your life. Remember this truth. Danger often grows in the spaces where boundaries were too soft for too long. A boundary is not a wall against love. It is a doorway with wisdom. It lets the good in and keeps the harmful out. You are allowed to have those. You are allowed to say this is too much, this is too fast, this is not healthy for me, this does not belong near my peace. Boundaries do not make you difficult. They make you clear. And clarity is one of the kindest things you can offer to your own life. It reduces confusion and increases peace. The Creator has not put you here to be endlessly tested by what drains you. You can learn to choose environments that respect your nervous system. You can choose people who speak gently. You can choose habits that support rest. You can choose spaces that do not require you to betray your own calm. These are not luxuries. They are forms of stewardship. Your life is a valuable thing. Treat it that way. The more you honor what keeps you whole, the less power danger has to lure you close. Whole people make wiser choices because they can feel what heals and what harms. Feel it in your soul. The gap between you and danger becomes wider when you stop calling every familiar thing safe. Familiarity can be a disguise, can make a harmful pattern feel like home. But home is not just what you know. Home is what helps you breathe. Home is what steadies you. Home is what lets you become more yourself, not less. If something repeatedly makes you doubt your worth, your clarity, your peace, it is not home. You do not need to stay loyal to what keeps wounding you. Loyalty is noble only when it is attached to what is true and good. You are not weak for needing distance. Distance can be wisdom in action. Sometimes stepping back is the most loving thing you can do for your future. Sometimes silence is the way you hear yourself again. Sometimes leaving is the way you recover your center. Not every gap is a loss. Some gaps are gifts. They give you room to breathe, room to see, room to heal. If you need space from something that keeps pulling you toward harm, take that space. Do not wait for permission to protect what is precious. Your peace does not need to be negotiated with danger. There is power in a simple sentence. Not today. Not this. Not this close. Not this pattern. Not this compromise. Not this drain. Those words can be holy when they protect what matters. You do not need to shout at them. You do not need to justify them endlessly. You only need to mean them. The right no can be a bridge back to life. It can widen the gap between you and danger before the gap collapses completely. That gap may be invisible to others, but it is real in your spirit. Honor it. Guard it. Let it shape your choices. Breathe with me for a moment. Maybe you have already ignored enough warnings to know how heavy the cost can become. So, let that memory teach you without trapping you. The lesson is not that you are doomed to repeat the same story. The lesson is that wisdom is available now. Right now. This moment. You can choose a different place. A different boundary. A different answer. That choice does not erase your past, but it does change your direction. Direction matters. It is how life escapes what once seemed unavoidable. One honest turn can open a safer road. Listen to this. The farther you stay from what harms you, the easier it becomes to hear your own voice again. Close proximity to danger often drowns out your judgment, makes your instincts feel fuzzy, makes your mind over-explain. It makes your heart bargain with what should never have been entertained. Distance clears the noise. Lets wisdom breathe. Lets you see what was hidden by emotional fog. So if you have been hovering near a harmful pattern, step back just enough to think clearly. That gap can restore your sight. Sight is one of your greatest protections. The Creator has given you more strength than you may have realized. Not the strength to control every outcome, but the strength to choose what belongs near you and what does not. Use that strength with care. Do not let guilt keep you in danger. Do not let loyalty to old pain keep you in places that collapse your peace. You can love people and still set boundaries. You can care about a situation and still step away from it. You can remain compassionate without remaining exposed. That balance is wisdom. It keeps your heart open without leaving it unguarded. You may think the safest choice is the most familiar choice, but that is not always true. Familiar danger can feel safer than unfamiliar peace because it is predictable. But predictable pain is still pain. Predictable chaos is still chaos. Do not confuse known discomfort with real security. The gap between you and danger widens when you choose what is truly healthy, not merely what is known. That may feel strange at first. New safety often feels awkward to a heart trained by old pain. Let it feel strange. Do not call it wrong just because it is unfamiliar. Let peace teach you how to live. Remember this truth. Your life does not have to wait until danger becomes undeniable. You can respond to the faint signal. You can respect the small unease. You can act before the damage grows. That is not fear. That is wisdom honoring the first whisper. The first whisper is often the kindest warning. It arrives before the storm, gives you room to move. Do not waste that mercy. When you hear the whisper, answer gently and quickly. Move toward safety. Move toward clarity. Move toward what lets your spirit relax instead of brace. That movement is a gift you give yourself. There are times when the gap closes because you kept explaining away what your spirit kept trying to expose. Be honest with yourself about that. The mind can defend what the heart already knows is not good. The mind can create reasons. The heart can create sorrow. Let them meet in truth. Ask what you are protecting by staying too close. Ask what you fear losing by stepping back. Sometimes the answer is comfort. Sometimes approval. Sometimes a familiar identity. But if what you protect keeps hurting you, it is not protection. It is delay. And delay can be a hidden form of danger. Feel it in your soul. You are allowed to want a life that does not keep you on edge. You are allowed to want peace that is not fragile. You are allowed to want relationships that feel safe, choices that feel clean, and habits that do not leave you drained. These wants are not excessive. They are healthy. They are a sign that your soul is waking up to its own dignity. Do not dismiss that wakefulness. Follow it. It will guide you toward a wider gap between you and what harms you, and toward a stronger life than you had imagined. The wise path is rarely the loudest one. It often looks boring to people who love chaos. It looks like restraint. It looks like patience. It looks like saying, I need time. It looks like choosing less stimulation and more stability. That path may not impress everyone, but it will save you from many costly lessons. Trust the path that lets you breathe. Trust the path that keeps your sleep intact. Trust the path that makes your mind quieter. Your future is not built by constant excitement. It is built by repeated wisdom. And wisdom is usually calm enough to miss if you are moving too fast. Listen to this. If something has to be defended constantly, it may already be too close to danger. A healthy thing can withstand examination, can survive a question. So choose the clear step now. Step back, breathe, and let peace lead. Protect your heart, trust the signal, and move toward what makes you feel steady. Reflect, pray, or connect with the divine in your own way. And if this message helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more daily guidance and comfort. Today, gently keep choosing safety over strain, breath by breath.